Good morning, everybody. Coffee with Karen. Click. Democracy. 5 stars. I would recommend. She's back. You guys are probably like, what is going on this morning? Okay, this is it. Finish strong, people. Finish strong. So much to talk about. Childless cat lady for Kamala. How cute is that? I'm like, I am pulling the shirt out. The shirt is coming out. Because here's the thing, you guys. People who are losing hope, who are unsubscribing from Lightworker channels because they can't handle it. Stop it. Stop it. No. No. And I'm talking to myself. No, 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 no. No. We can't do that. You can't do that. If you do that, then what? I mean, then who's going to, I don't like using the word fight, so I'm not going to use that, but who's going to resist? Huh? Who's going to do it? Other people? No, we are. Everybody. Because you know why? Democracy, 5 stars. Would recommend. Okay. We can sleep when we're dead. We can sleep when we're dead. We're doing this for our peeps, you guys. We're doing this for the little ones. Stay strong. Okay? Or no, finish strong. Stay strong and finish strong. Finish strong. So at this point, you guys, Kamala is the symbol for democracy. That's all there is to it. Okay? In my head. Okay? There's a lot of other symbols for democracy, but right now, that's what it means. And I don't care if I am going to be talking about this. I don't care if it's 4 years. I don't care. I don't care. At this point, I'm not going to focus on timelines. I'm not going to have expectations, but I'm going to hold the light. I'm not going to ever give up hope. If you give up hope, what was the whole point? What was the whole point of ever paying attention? You can't say you love living in a democracy if you give up hope at this point. You can be angry and irritated and all that kind of stuff, but never give up hope. Because never giving up hope is just settling. Is just settling. We're not going to settle. We're not going to settle. And it's so bizarre that I got to go get a book now. I'll be right back. Because I went to bed reading this book last night, and then I woke up this morning and I want to draw the connection. Okay, so I bought this book because I was really digging her oracle cards. So I thought, I got to read more about her. Asha Frost. Is this the most beautiful book cover ever? It is so pretty. Look at that. So pretty. Anyways, I can basically read like 3 paragraphs before I go to sleep because I fall asleep. But I ended up reading this quote before I went to bed by Maggie Kuhn, Kuhn, which is very similar to my name. Leave safety behind. Put your body on the line. Stand before the people you fear and speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. I'm going to read that again. Leave safety behind. Put your body on the line. Stand before the people you fear and speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. How beautiful is that? So here's the thing. So what I am learning from Asha frost. And I'm literally not even on page 1 yet. Not even on page 1. I'm in the prefix or whatever you call that in the beginning. What do we call that? Well, it's the introduction, but it's still got like the Roman numerals at the bottom. So I do want to read her letter in here, and I want you to use this as an example. Okay, so in my opinion right now, Putin is running. That's my opinion. It's stuff that I've seen. And it's like he is basically fascism, and Putin is basically running the Republican Party right now. So when you think of that side, just think that they're just Russian operatives at this point. That's just how it feels to me. I could be wrong. But regardless, it doesn't matter because they're not for democracy. That's very clear. So it's easier for me to actually see them as Russian operatives because that's not American. This is not American what's happening. It's just not. And you know what? We are a democracy, and we are going to stay a democracy. And you know why? Because Mamala told us that we will continue to fight, and we are going to fight. And I said, okay, Mamala, I am heeding your call. I am heeding your call. I posted on the community tab it's like a 1.5 minute press conference. It wasn't even a press conference. It was a statement she made after confirmation yesterday. Go listen to that. Mamala, we are here with you. She is Mamala. She is the queen of the Lightworkers right now. And she's the perfect person for it. She's the perfect person for it. Watch her actions because she's such a critical thinker and she's such a strategist and she cares so much. She is the queen of the Lightworkers. Our Kamala, Mamala. I really like thinking of her as Mamala. I feel taken care of when I think of her as Mamala. And you know what? If she can do it, we can do it. We can speak our mind even if our voices shake. You know? So I read this before I go to bed. It was like 11 p.m. Fell asleep. 4 a.m. woke up, had a little headache still. And then it just, I got in my head, and I don't know if it's my guides or what it is, but it just would not leave me alone. Lightworkers for democracy. Lightworkers for democracy. That's okay. So I finally, I'm 30 minutes later, I slept for 5 hours, but I'm like, dang it. So I got up within 5 minutes. I have a YouTube channel called Lightworkers for Democracy. I have an email address called Lightworkers for Democracy. I have a blue sky called Lightworkers for Dem because they wouldn't let me do democracy. So anyways, I don't know what I'm going to do there yet, but if you want to go subscribe to Lightworkers for Democracy on YouTube, I'll post the link below. There's no content yet, but what I'm going to do on there, my intuition is saying, I'm not even going to show my face. It's not going to be a discussion channel. Well, it's going to be a community discussion channel, which is kind of unusual for YouTube, I think. But what I'm going to do is post 1 minute clips and then for discussion. Okay. And this is for Lightworkers. This is not going to be this is going to be a place where you can come and hold the light and get ideas to hold the light, basically. Okay. But it's also going to be an awareness. So if you've been with me a little bit, I talk about the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D in dimension. So there's a lot of shit going on, and we're resisting the 3D, basically, the shit that's going on in the 3D. And we're going to sit in the 4D. We're going to be neutral, but we're going to hold the light. But we're going to resist. We're going to hold the light. We're not going to put up with that crap. We're not going to put up with the crap. And so we're going to support each other here in the 4D as we observe what's going on in the 3D on this channel, on the Democracy for Lightworkers for Democracy. Now, I might need some monitors for that channel. So if you're in my spirit circle and you would be interested in monitoring, because I don't know that Lob will have the time to monitor that because it's enough to monitor this channel. And so I might need some monitors that we can trust in there, just to like hide comments and get rid of people who are being rude. Okay, so let me know if that's something you're interested in. Like subscribe over there and then, well, I don't even think there's a place you can leave comments yet. But you can leave a comment in this video. And I'll know if you're in the spirit circle. I mean, the more the merrier, to be honest. You know, the more the merrier. So let me read this letter from Asha. Okay, so what happened is Asha Frost, Native American. I would really like to say what her tribe is out of respect. But I am not sure I'm going to be able to pronounce it. So let's see. So shoot, I don't think I can find it. Okay, the next time I talk about this, I will find it and practice how to pronounce it. Okay, my apologies for that. Okay, so she wrote a letter. I think it was a blog post, if I remember correctly. And it created a lot of discussion, both positive and negative. Okay. And the letter was, Dear White Woman. Okay. And she even says, like, why do white women have a problem when she uses the term white women when we call her indigenous woman? You know, if we were just going to call her a woman, not an indigenous woman, you know, like I just said she was Native American, you know, we do have this thing about labeling people in their cultures, not white women though. We don't go like, you know, if there's a news story, they don't say a white man. Maybe they starting to, I don't know, but I don't think so. But they certainly do if a person's black, don't they? You know? So she says, yes, she says that, like, why do people have a hard time with me using white woman? She said, I want to share that I use the term white woman because this is my reality. It isn't women of color who are causing harm. It is white women. I know that this term can be triggering for folks, yet people call me indigenous woman all the time. Please try to see that I am simply calling in those who were causing pain to indigenous people by taking and benefiting from our medicines. Okay? This is very, very helpful for light workers to understand this. We do need to educate ourselves. It isn't just resisting and holding the light isn't just about praying and meditating. We need to understand. And I'm not saying I understand. I'm going to facilitate. I'm always facilitating a level to bring some conversation because I'm not the expert here. I'm learning just as much as you are. So the letter that she wrote at some point, I think it was in a blog post. She was sharing her story basically. Okay, but it triggered a lot of people. Okay, the letter. Dear white women, it's kind of long, so be patient. It's a couple pages. Okay? But I think it's really helpful to hear, and then please consider purchasing her book. I do have an affiliate link below if you're going to buy it on Amazon. It's just connected to my account, but it doesn't cost you any more money, but it will help her also, you know. But if you're not buying it on Amazon, then no big deal. Just if you are, just might as well use our link. So, okay, dear white woman who wants to be like me. I get it. You see the moccasins and the beaded earrings. the cheekbones and the drum, the smudge bowl and the feathers. It all looks so exotic, something that you want to be a part of, something you want to consume. And you think that maybe if you borrow a few of these things, you can connect to the earth more deeply, to the ancestral wisdom, to the spirit world. I've heard it time and time again. I wish I was you. I would love to be native. You are so lucky. I was native in a past life. I really want a status card, and I think I have native blood. Can you tell me how to get one? Again and again, I've heard these things from you, and my heart pains, and my throat closes, and my tears get swallowed. Do you really know what you're saying? Do you really know what you're asking for? I love my heritage. I am proud of who I am, even when I wear my beaded earrings and people whisper behind my back, asking, who does she think she is? Even when I walk in my mukluks and teenagers shout Indian calls at me, even when I'm discriminated against when I enter the hospital. I love who I am. I am a proud Anishinaabe. I will learn how to pronounce that. Ojibwe woman. So I'm a proud Anishinaabe. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Ojibwe woman, but I'm attempting. And it's taken me 42 years to get here. So dear white woman, I want to ask you this. I know that you take on the dream catchers and the powwows. I know that you would take on the headdress and the sage. I know that you would take on the wisdom and the beauty. But do you want the rest of it? Truly, would you like to experience people asking to collaborate with you so they can reach grants intended for Indigenous creators for their work? Would you like to be seen and treated as less than when you have pneumonia and are in desperate need of hospital care? Asked by medical professionals how much alcohol you've had to drink when all you need is medicine? Would you like to have big dreams and wonder every single day whether you will be able to rise in this current system? Would you like to feel physically ill every time you read the comment section and see the horrible view society has about your people? Would you like to shake violently afterward and wonder if you and your children are safe in this world? Would you take on a painful chronic illness and later wonder if part of the reason you have it is due to the oppression and pain your people have experienced? Would you take all of this on too? I look around at a world that has reduced me to a costume, a world that has romanticized me into a character, a world that takes the teachings of my people and uses them without any acknowledgement or an invitation for us to join them on their stage. This is the world we live in. And so, dear white woman who wants to be like me, are you willing to take on all of it or just the pretty parts? Are you willing to take on the trauma or just the wisdom? Are you willing to deal with the intergenerational trauma of the residential schools and the alcohol and the suicide and the violence and the genocide? Are you willing to carry all of that in your cells, your blood, your tissue, ready to do the work every single day to heal so that you can make sure your children don't carry it as you have? Dear white woman who wants to be like me, do you? Or can you just be like you and reconnect to your own sacred medicines, your own beautiful ancestry, your own power, presence, and brilliance? I see you wanting to, I see you aspiring to, I see you reconnecting. Can you be like you as I reclaim and remember me? And then we can finally walk in right relation to each other. How beautiful is that? Healing Rainbow Woman. Her name, Mig Welch. Again, I'm making an attempt here, but I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Healing Rainbow Woman, Asha Frost. I mean, right? I'm going to have to read that over and over again because I've done that. I'm doing it now. I mean, we're always doing it. White women are always doing that. I mean, I even said on this channel recently that I'm really drawn to this culture. It must have been a past life or something. You know why? Because here's the thing. How many white women here, and even white men, can reconnect to our own sacred medicines? What? What? Nobody taught me about any sacred medicines I don't even know what my culture is. Your own beautiful ancestry. Okay, maybe a little bit, but I don't feel the power of my ancestry like I see the power of their ancestry, the good stuff. But there's also a lot of bad, a lot of challenges. Your own power, presence, and brilliance. So it's just giving me a lot of food for thought. What food for thought did that give you? Because that would be really helpful for me to hear in the comments, and I'm sure other people. What food for thought did that give you? Let's be honest. So I feel like this is very appropriate for light workers for democracy. To understand, to learn, to not continue to say the things we normally have said, especially white women. White women have a lot to learn. White women and white men, we have a lot to learn because we haven't had to learn the things that other people have had to learn in any marginalized community because they've been forced to learn it. Black mothers are forced to teach their Black children how to react when a police officer pulls them over. I have never had the conversation. Like I've watched Black women explain what they tell to their children. My parents never had that conversation with me, ever. So we just really, if we are going to really be light workers for democracy, we can't just hold the light. We have to understand. We have to educate ourselves. And I've talked about it before in terms of white privilege. It's not, people who don't have privilege, they can't change it. The people who have the privilege have to change it, have to change the systems, have to change. It's not the person who doesn't have the privilege. It's not their job, and they don't have the power to do it. Just like women, I use men who rape women. That's an example. Women don't have the power to change that. Men have to start talking about that all over the place. Why is that happening? Men are the ones who have to stop that and have to dig within themselves as a collective and fix that. It's the same example. There's just so many, layers to it. So anyway, just, part of the democracy for light workers or light workers for democracy is just going to be partly about educating ourselves. But I have this image on this channel. I mean, literally, I woke up and within 5 minutes, I have this new I'm like, what is happening? And I don't know. I have no idea. This is how I've been flowing with this channel. I have no idea what I'm going to do in there. But I have this image that it's going to be like a 2-minute video. I'm not even going to show my face. It's not a discussion video. It's going to be a call out for discussion. That's all the video is going to be. Maybe even just, it'll just be me reading off that letter and then you guys, and then us having a discussion in the channel. So it'll be like a 2 or 3 minute video. Okay, under 5, let's just say, That's probably what I'm going to do. And then just other things, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing is just pulling out things to help us have community and conversation to help us be really good light workers for democracy. And then you guys will say, read this and put this as a chat or comment, read this part of this book. Like you'll send it to me on email and, can you cover this, read this poem so that we can have a conversation about this. I'll leave it up to you guys. It'll be a community channel. I'll leave it up to you guys to say, what do you want to discuss, and the email is democracy, lightworkersfordemocracy@gmail.com. Okay. I have no idea how overwhelming this is going to get, but so I'll fill you in. I'll let you know. I mean, I might have other community members monitoring it or whatever. So, okay. Anywho, that's what I'm up to this morning. And what it's 6:15, and we have, normally I would go back to sleep now because I was up so early, but we have somebody coming and working on our house today. So, hey, we don't have a right to lose hope. We don't have a right to ignore what's going on at this point. We really can't, you guys. We can stay in the 4D, but we actually cannot afford to be living in the 5D, which is completely ignoring everything at this point. It's just not responsible. It's, in my opinion, it's not a responsible way forward at this point. Okay. And even if anything changes over the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever, this is going to be very important going forward for many years. So at this point, our focus has to shift. If you spent 3 hours shopping a week, like for pleasure, well, take a hot bath, relax, and then Lightworkers for Democracy. We just don't have a choice. We don't have a choice for our littles. And just for the whole world, because this is very obvious that this is becoming a worldwide issue. So it's not just the United States. So, and we're going to do it in love and light big time. Like this isn't going to be, no, there's not going to be any hate or anything like that. This is going to be a place for understanding and, holding the light type of thing. But we have to understand. We can't keep our heads in the sand anymore. So, and hopefully this will catch on, like across, because Lightworkers, so I looked up what Lightworkers is because I put it in the description, for the, I was like, well, what exactly is a Lightworker? I never really looked it up, to be honest. I'm like, it sounds good to me. I'm a light worker. I like that. I like the term. I mean, I kind of got the sense of it, but so I put this as the only thing that's really on the channel right now. A light worker is someone who chooses to be a positive force in the world, bringing love and healing in the face of fear and darkness. Light workers believe that their actions can raise the vibration of the planet. Some synonyms? No. Okay, I'm a little dyslexic, so I don't know that word. I can't pronounce it. I've never pronounced it out loud. For light workers include, and so some other words for light workers: energy healer, pranic healer, never heard of that before, quantum healer, and biofield therapist. Okay, well, let's just forget that whole section. That's way too specific for me. So yeah, so a light worker is someone who chooses to be a positive force in the world. Ooh, that's just so... So even, it doesn't matter what religion you practice. It just doesn't matter. If you want to be a positive force in the world, you're a light worker. We're all light workers, But there is some really heavy lying, manipulative energy right now, and we need to talk about it. We can't ignore it. Okay? So light workers bring love and healing in the face of fear and darkness. And I'm going to end by reading this quote one more time to drill it into my head, and I'm going to have to keep reminding myself. In fact, this will be the first video. I'm going to do it right after this. I'm going to put it on that channel. Okay? Leave safety behind. Put your body on the line. Stand before the people you fear and speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. So that's going to be the first video. I'm going to put that, I'm going to create that as a header. I'm going to read it, and then we can have a discussion about that in that channel. And we'll just start slow. It'll start slow. But if you guys want to subscribe and hit notifications on whoever's interested in, you know, sleeping when you're dead and finishing strong. It doesn't matter when it ends. We need to finish strong. That means our lives, meaning we will finish, the finish line is when we pass over. The finish line is when you pass over, when I pass over. Okay? That's the finish line at this point. You know? And it doesn't have to be exhausting. We won't exhaust ourselves. But we're not giving up hope. I don't want to hear this crap. People unsubscribing from people like my channel and stuff because you don't want to talk about it anymore. Well, you don't have the privilege to do that. I'm sorry. And here's the thing, which is really cracks. Okay, I'm not ending with that quote apparently. It really cracks me up because this card had come up several times this week when I pulled angel cards, optimism. And then the saying on the back is, if you're going to make up stories in your head about people and circumstances, please make them love stories with happy endings. So that's what we're going to be doing in that channel, is love stories with happy endings. So the love story is our democracy. And the happy ending is we will remain a democracy. You know, that's the love story. And that's the story we're going to tell ourselves. Because there's no reason not to. There's no reason not to. Why sit and wallow in the, oh my God, I'm afraid, I'm going to, you know. And white people, you've had the privilege your whole life to do that. Every person of color, every person in marginalized communities, you know, unless you've been, if you're a white person in one of those communities, LGBTQA+, if you've been in one of those, if you're in that community, then you understand what I'm talking about. But I've had the privilege to not have to use my voice against the fear and even like my husband during, you know, just to make himself feel better, like before the election, he would say, you know, well, we'll be okay. And I'm like, and that's not to diss him at all. I get it. And he knows that that's not like appropriate, but it's like something he had to tell himself. White people get to do that. We'll be okay. You know what I mean? But we can't change. This shit can't change. If systems are all designed by white men, it can't change until white men and then white women and then so on and so on step forward and have these conversations. So, and stop. This was the card we got yesterday. Stop trying to please everyone. Everyone is a whole lot of people. Protect your energy. Okay, so we're going to do that too. Okay, but we can't keep trying to please everybody. You know? So I kept these two cards out to really think about. Especially because this one came up twice this week already for us as a group. About making up stories and have them as happy endings. So that's what we're going to focus on that channel, and I'm probably going to focus on this channel too. Is as we talk about things, what is the love story we want to create, and what's the happy ending? You know, so that's maybe the second video I will post. Is what's the love story we want to create out of this situation, and what's the happy ending? Let's create it. Let's create it. Create the energy for it. You know. So, all right, light workers for democracy. childless cat ladies for, and cat dogs, and even just cat ladies and cat men. Everybody for Kamala. Again, Kamala, she really is basically a symbol of democracy at this point. Whether she's the person or not, like eventually getting in, being the leader of our country, she is the symbol of democracy for me right now. So I don't know how you guys think. So, okay, here we go. Have a good one. Bye-bye.